I first met the sisters in the Bronx all the way up in Byron Avenue. Oh, it must have been about 1935, 34. I was just a little girl then. And we used to be seeing the sisters passing in front of our house because they used to live right next door. And many times we didn't know what they were because we knew they were sisters, but we didn't know what work they were doing. And they couldn't possibly be sisters, the people were saying, because they didn't have a convent and there were just 2 or 3 of them. So, but we always used to say good afternoon, sister, or whatever the day would be, because Mother Paula would always greet us back because she was the one that knew English better than the others. So then after that, Mother Paula asked us to go and visit them. Well, we went to visit them. My mother and I were the first ones that went. After that, my sisters used to come. But she and I were the first ones, and we didn't know what to bring the sisters because it was the first time we were going. So Mother thought it would be best to bring them a nice big plant for the chapel. But we went into chapel. Mother Paula put it right in front of the altar. But it was so simple, the chapel. It was so small. It was only about, well, I should say about 9 feet by 6 the most. Everything was all crowded together. And the altar was just made out of wood. It looked like planks, to tell you the truth. But we didn't go and examine it that closely rather. See, and then Mother Paula asked if, on my free time, if I would be able to accompany her on different occasions to go downtown, to do errands, to go visit people, or just to go out with them and so they'd be acquainted with the different places and the stores. So my mother told me very willingly. She says, sure, take her. So I used to go, and Mother Paula used to take me by the hand, but she always used to walk so fast, I'd have to run to keep up with her. And they always used to tease me, my brothers and sisters, because of that. Then after a few years, one of the girls entered, and then about a year later, she received her habit. That was Sister Mira Celeste.
The Daughters of St. Paul came to my house on a Saturday in 1932. As soon as they had come from Italy, there was Maestra Paola and her companion, who was a junior. And the doorbell rang, and I was dumbfounded to see 2 lovely sisters who said, "Buongiorno," good morning, in Italian. I had never heard them before, so I led them in, and we talked a little bit. They showed us some books they had, and I liked them. I liked their family spirit, their nice way of going about things, not too reserved. Mother Paula asked me, did you ever think of being a sister? Well, I hadn't been thinking of it. And I said, not exactly. I really didn't think of it. What would you have liked to have done? Just think this. What would you have liked to have done if you were dying? How would you like to have spent your life? And, well, this was food for thought, wasn't it? My friends and I went to visit them, and that's when I decided. I went out with Maestra Paola. We did some distribution of literature, some evangelization, and I thought, well, this seems to be a good place. So I packed my few little things, and my mother, and it was my father, took me to the convent, and there I began my life. I really went out to evangelize most every day.
Pairs of smiling sisters bringing Bibles, prayer books, and religious literature to people became a familiar sight on New York's busy streets. The sisters were becoming increasingly known, but they found themselves forced to explain time and time again the new and unique mission of the Daughters of St. Paul. Sometimes misunderstood, they never doubted their calling Their founder's words echoed in their hearts.
Your mission is the glory of God and the salvation of souls by spreading the gospel to the apostolate of social communications.
From Italy, Mother Tekla kept close to the sisters by regularly sending encouraging letters. In one of her letters, she wrote,
"Give wings and feet to the gospel, that it may travel far and wide."
Daily, the sisters approached people of every religious belief, nationality, and social background, offering them the Word of God. Before long, many people began to expect the sisters' visits. (1938). Now, for the first time, the sisters had a home they could call their own, the former Benziger estate on Staten Island, New York. The community had grown, and young women interested in the Pauline challenge joined.
I decided that I really was meant for religious life, and I entered the convent. And the sisters, they really had such a good spirit. They're so full of zeal and apostolic works that during the day they used to go out evangelizing, and at night we used to have our apostolate in the basement of the convent. And as I was the only postulant at the time, I used to run the book sewing machine and prepare the books. And at night, the sisters, after supper, during their recreation time, they used to come down and they would prepare the books, paperback, or make covers and bind them. And they'd have them the following day to bring with them for evangelization.
The congregation continued to expand in the States and internationally, but a threatening cloud was hanging over the world. Soon, nations were engulfed in World War II. The U.S. Paulines could no longer communicate with Mother Tekla, the other sisters in Rome, and their families. This was a painful trial for Mother Paula and the sisters during the war. Father Alberione was concerned about the safety of his spiritual sons and daughters throughout the world. He entrusted them to the protection of Mary, making a vow.
Holy Mary, my Queen, if you will spare the lives of every member of the Pauline family in this war, I vow to build the church in your honor.
Even though World War II claimed over 35 million military and civilian deaths, there was not a single casualty among the Pauline priests, brothers, or sisters. Mary, the Mother of God, had been more than faithful on her part. As soon as the war was over, Father Alberione expressed his thanksgiving by beginning construction in Rome of the beautiful Basilica of Mary, Queen of Apostles. After the war, as soon as communication lines were opened, Mother Paula and the sisters sent supplies to Mother Tekla in war-ravaged Rome.